We asked for Skate 4, but we got Skate full stop. It's always online, it's free to play, and it's leaning on promises about the future. I'm judging it the way most of us will experience it, by what's available today, not what's coming down the line. It's been 15 years since Skate 3. 8 years ago, even the Berrics publicly called on EA to bring Skate 4 back.
Make Skate 4 already, it was a bestseller, why would you not make another? Make the game before I sue!
And that shows something important, that gamers and skaters both wanted it, but maybe for different reasons. As a skater myself, I always valued the simulation, and the Skate series delivered on that. It had fun spots to do tricks, realistic looking animations, and a world with pro skaters that I recognised in real life. I filled the Skate 4 gap with games like Skater XL because it was the closest thing to Skate 3 that I could find on the PC, and for a while it felt like we would never actually see Skate return. But now it has, just not as Skate 4 like we were hoping. So in this video I'm going to share my honest first impressions. I'm going to look at the gameplay, what the world's like, what the monetization is like, the single player experience, the multiplayer experience, and what this reboot really says about the Skate series. Because at the end of the day, the question is simple. Is Skate Full Stop any good? So let's talk about the gameplay of Skate Full Stop. How does it feel compared to the other games in the franchise? So if I step onto the board and start doing some flip tricks, they feel good. The animations of the game, they do look very nice, I must say. I like the animation of the boned ollie. That's when you do the ollie and push the board out in front of you. The kickflips look nice. And one of my favourite features in this game is being able to land sideways and then slide out of the trick, revert, whatever you want to call it. It feels good to be able to do that. And it feels kind of realistic to be able to slide out of a trick, because that is what would happen in real life. But as I was playing, and I started playing a little bit of multiplayer, my friend noticed something that I hadn't noticed up to that point. And that was that you can't bail a flip trick. It doesn't matter how hard I try, how much I hold down the stick, the character will just cancel out the animation and I will land the flip trick no matter what. And that left me with a weird feeling, because part of the game is timing your flip tricks to land them. Whereas now, I just hold them down. I will always land them no matter what. And it kind of led me to sympathise with this comment I received on my other skate video. And that was that this game is a game made for people who've never skated before. It does give off that vibe, I must say. So what about spots around the city? Are there good spots to do tricks? Well, there are a lot of spots, and I've already caught myself in that kind of loop where I'm trying to do a specific trick down a spot and I wanted to stay there until I'd done the trick exactly how I imagined it. So there are spots like that, and that was what I enjoyed about playing Skate 3, was just hitting tricks that I felt like were satisfying to me and then move on from that spot. And if that's what you're looking for in this game, there's plenty of it. There are a lot of areas to skate, like here you could have a lot of fun doing some tricks. You could try and do some tricks on this ledge, do a trick up this, do some tricks down these stairs. The city is brimming with spots to be skated, but there's just something about the vibe of the game that just doesn't want me coming back to it. And I do find it hard to put my finger on why. And maybe the missions might help explain that a little bit. So I have been playing through the missions, and I just find the characters, I'm sick of hearing from them. They always have something quirky to say whenever you do anything, and I've been finding myself holding that skip button as quickly as possible to get through it.
Don't get woozy when it's wavy. Wow, you're pretty flipping good. Blasting airs feels good, doesn't it?
Shut up. And in fact, this morning I haven't even been playing with my headphones on, so I can't hear them. And I'll be honest, the game has been a little bit more enjoyable without hearing them at all. Let's talk about that tutorial section. One thing I'm not a fan of is forced tutorials. I've always been the kind of person that likes to jump straight into the game. I like to figure out the controls myself, and I like to discover without someone telling me how to play. I will always skip tutorials when possible. And in Skate Full Stop, the tutorial is forced upon you. You are on a sort of tutorial island. You have to do what V's asking you to do. Whereas in Skate 3, I like that, yes, it might drop you into the tutorial, but I can open up the map and fast travel to any of the points around the world and just start playing the game how I want from the moment I load the game. So if I'm loading loading up on a save where I haven't even played the game before, I can just go straight into free roam, and the full game is available to me if I want to. And if I do want to pursue the story and the missions, I can go back and do that. Whereas in this, there is a force of missions that you have to complete. You come off the tutorial island relatively quickly if you just push through those missions as fast as possible. And then it brings you to the open world. And then as soon as you're on the open world, you can completely veer off course and ignore all of the missions if you want to. And that's pretty much what I did. As soon as I loaded in, I was like, I'm out. I'm going to do just skating around the world. And right now, just skating around, doing some flip tricks, it does feel quite satisfying, I must say. I could stop off at a spot if I want. So with all that in mind, how has the single player experience been? Well, it's pretty good if you enjoy skating around a city and landing some tricks and maybe choosing a spot to do some specific tricks down. It offers all of that. That is all here. Honestly, the game runs very well. I haven't tweaked the graphic settings at all, and it feels like the game runs very smoothly without me having to tweak anything. So I will commend them for that. There are some issues where graphics will pop in, and I might be able to change that if I tweak the settings, but I'm just playing with them on the default settings. But the pop-in is quite intense sometimes. It is a little bit distracting. Come on, go in. What? Am I just stuck here? So there are comments on my previous video saying that the map feels like it's not cohesive, that there's just these segments put together and it doesn't feel like anything really connects. As I'm skating around, there are areas that just feel very sparse, like skating through that area just then, it did feel quite sparse, and then there's just a few random areas like there was that statue I just skated past. Here, it's just benches. This area is not particularly interesting. You could try and grind some of these rails if you wanted. Just like that. But it's just the same thing repeating over and over again. And I think there's a lot of areas like this where it's kind of on the outskirts of the city and it just feels like this area hasn't seen much love, I must say. But if we are to run into the centre of the city somewhat, it does become more interesting. Like, this area looks quite nice. And now we're back into the city area. And again, it's kind of just like this flowing feeling. You could grind here if you wanted, do some tricks. But it's just more benches and more stairs. But there is a lot to the map. There could be areas all over the place. And you could spend hours exploring if you wanted to. But the question is, do I actually want to? And I think the conversation I had with my friend last night when we played some multiplayer gives a little bit of light into that feeling.
I hate the little thing. I knew I would.
What, the robot? V?
It's free, which is a boat, like... I love the fact it's free. Like, there is a plus. The music's good. I'll give it that as well. I know, with, like, sessions, it has, like, the same 4 songs. And it's just, like, music I don't even like, and it would just loop over and over. It's far too easy. I'm just landing everything.
It does feel like the flip tricks kind of complete themselves when you're near the floor.
Yeah, like regardless.
Actually, I can't even make myself bail. Wait.
Say you're doing a kickflip and you just keep holding left.
I just did that. He just lands it.
So if you go for like a double?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I've fallen over doing that. Can't do it now.
I'm trying right now. He literally just lands the kickflip. Check out this sweet trick I'm doing right now.
So I'm going for a grind. I'm not even trying to balance. I swear in Skate 3 you actually had to like try and sort of retain on. I feel like there was crazy jumps and shit you could do, but you had to actually find them.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this is just like every single area has something right there to do something like a big jump or some shit.
I don't know how to describe how I think about the map.
Yeah, because I sort of understand it's not a bad thing at the same time. I know others would enjoy it and like it is a better flow, like they actually have more fun, but something's at home.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Something feels off, but I don't know what it is that feels off about it. There's a lot to look at and skate around, but then somehow it feels empty at the same time. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. I'm already a bit like, I feel like I'm done with it.
Yeah, I feel like that too. It's like there's a lot to skate around, but it all kind of feels a bit samey. So what about the shop? That's the thing that's going to keep this game alive or kill it. So let's take a look. If we look at this Founders Pack, if we go back, this is 5,900 of these paid for credits, and I've got 250 that was gifted to me from doing my first mission. Quite common in free-to-play games to give you a tiny taste of what the paid for currency is like to try and entice you in and get some more. So I had a look at this on Steam and it was about £40. So if you're buying this Founders Deluxe Pack, you're essentially purchasing the game, and that comes with this premium Skate full stop pass for season 1. Season 1 is not out yet. You get a bunch of cosmetics and you get some bucks as well, but for the most part it's just a bunch of cosmetics. Honestly, why do I want to be skating around as a big piece of meat? I don't. Everything here is cosmetic, and that's how this game is going to be running at the minute. It is just cosmetics that are available to purchase. Now, this caught my eye. So see this Grim Reaper bundle. This is 2,750 credits for this. And how much is that in currency, you may ask? Well, if we scroll down, we can see the pricing. So this is how much you can get. If I was to spend £4.49, I would get 500 of these credits. Well, the Grim Reaper bundle here is 2,800. That would be enough to buy it. And that is £22. £22 for this. And why would I ever buy this? I do not know. I have no interest in purchasing that myself. And this is how the game's going to be run. Oh, that's what EA have said. It's going to be focusing on cosmetics. And while we're looking at the shop, there are loot boxes. Because of course there are loot boxes. So let's open one right now. I seem to have one. Oh wait, it's asking me to purchase one. It says here that I have 2 boxes. So where are they? Where are my 2 free boxes? It wants me to open a box for 150 in-game credits. So it looks like that opening a box costs me credits. So let's just open one right now. New rewards. Congratulations. And I got a picture, which is great, I suppose. I have don't care about that picture in the slightest. And the loot boxes have just been a distraction, really. I don't see myself ever purchasing a loot box. These cosmetics I just don't care about cosmetics, I must say. So how do I feel about that? Well, I guess it's a good thing. That means all of the playable content is there for the players, and it doesn't matter whether you purchase it or not. But you've got to ask yourself, how is it going to be in the future? A year down the line? 2 years down the line? Are they going to section off new maps, new areas for purchase? Thinking about this multiplayer, does it add much to me as a single player experience? A player that likes playing on their own most of the time. I'll be honest, all it says to me is that they want me to see these other players, see what cosmetics they've got, and then try and induce some sort of FOMO in myself to want to get those cosmetics. And as a player who has no interest in cosmetics, I just don't care. So that tactic isn't going to work on me, but I can see that is the tactic that a lot of these games go for. Roblox, Fortnite, you want to see those skins to make you want to purchase them yourself. I'm quite cynical in that sense. That is how I take it. And I've often find that seeing the other players is quite distracting, actually. I'm used to playing other skate games like Skate 3. If there's someone there, I feel like I'm going to hit them and I try and avoid them. And suddenly there might be a player coming at me or skating towards the same area that I'm skating. And then I stop trying to do the thing that I want to do because I'm worried that we're going to collide with each other. But you do just phase through each other. They are essentially ghosts. Let's talk about one of the biggest points of contention in Skate Full Stop, and that is the art style. How does it look? Well, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the big cartoony... I've got the word Gumpy in my head. The Gumpy face. There's just this guy's mug looking at me with his big thick eyebrows looking happy. It doesn't really speak to me, I must say. It is easy to ignore the graphics when you're skating around. All I can see is the back of the character. So in that respect, it doesn't bother me too much. But there is something that's kind of off-putting about the art style. But when you're looking purely at the gameplay, the art style doesn't, for me, detract from the gameplay. But yeah, there's no edges to it. It just feels very cartoony, and it plays into the comment I brought up earlier that Skate is made for players who don't skate in real life. And I feel like that is pretty much spot on. The fact that you can't bail a flip trick, you will always land that kickflip that you flick. It's like the art style. It's soft, it's safe, it's inoffensive. And through being inoffensive, it's quite forgettable. These graphics do just feel bland, and that's how I just feel about the whole game, if I'm honest. Like me and my friend were saying earlier, we just find ourselves not really feeling that pull to log back in the next day. I honestly don't see myself playing this game very much at all, because something about it just feels off. So the gameplay is there, and it can be satisfying to do tricks, to hit lines that you want to hit, to skate those spots that look interesting, but the gameplay that the world is in feels hollow. And one thing that I found very interesting is that upon launching the game the first time, there was a questionnaire asking how much do you care about skate culture? And I think that that's there because online, the online discourse is this game has no skate culture. But if this game is really for those people that have never skated in real life, they're probably going to tick no. And if most of the people who play this game, because this game is obviously targeted towards broad audiences, most of the people that play this game will most likely click no, that they do not care about skate culture. And that means that EA will probably not include skate culture going forward, because most of the player base does not care. And if you think I'm being a bit too harsh because the game is in early access, there will be changes. Well, oftentimes the first impressions of these early access games is how I remember the game forever. And usually if it isn't a good experience, I never return, even if they do improve the game. So if you're the kind of player that enjoys skating around, doing some tricks, skating down some spots, then you're going to find some enjoyment here. There is fun to be had in Skate full stop. But if you're looking for something a little bit more than that, some reason to play, a story perhaps, then you won't find that here. It does feel like the future of this game could lean towards becoming a platform, a Roblox, a Fortnite, a game where there are mini-games within it, a game that hosts other games, or even like GTA Online. You could imagine custom game modes that the community has made, and that is what could make this game feel alive. It could be the reason to come to Skate full stop. And that is where the real strengths of being an online service are, is letting the community find those game modes that are the most enjoyable, are the most fun, and players will gravitate towards them.